Hello, welcome to this week's Stories from Strathmore. Last week we were hearing about the lives led by single men in the farm Bothys, and we're going to be at that again for a wee while this week as well. Probably the very last of the Bothys disappeared in the 70s, but the rot really set in just after the war, as Davie Adams of Brechin explains.
It began to change during the war, and you see, they used to free for 6 months in Whitsun and Martinmas at winter and summer terms. And the first year of the war, I think the war had been started for about a year, and the government decided to stop them moving about. I don't know why, but they decided it was a bad thing. So they actually brought in a new wages rule, and they got more pay, and it was enforced they didn't move about. And if they did, they could get fined or even put in Perth jail. And the ones that consider themselves really skilled, this really annoyed them because somebody who wasn't as good as them got the same money and they couldn't move to get better money. So it really irritated some people, and someone said, I'm prepared to go down the how, that means down the how to Perth jail. And even this law still stood until about the 50s. The Labour government after the war still kept it on for some strange reason. It was abolished in 1950. It must have been, strangely enough, the Tories that abolished it. And that really stopped this thing of moving about. And after the war, a lot of them just settled down and worked in the same place and got married. And then tractors came along, and there was very few horses to be seen by the late 40s. And to start with, you needed about as many men, so there were still tractor Bothys. But after a while, they started having more and more machinery, and of course you could, as a double plough, you could plough in twice the time, and then you've got the quadruple, and you've even got 6 and 8 now. So you can plough the area in a few days that it took 2 or 3 pairs of horses to do in a month or something. You see, so you needed fewer and fewer men.
Was it a shame that the Bothys died out?
I don't think it's a shame. I think that it's not to me to say I'm glad, because I never had to live that life. But they're all boys that tell me the stories. They laughed about it, but I'm damn sure they wouldn't wish it on anybody nowadays.
If you were single, had no home of your own, and you didn't live in a Bothy, what did you do? You stayed in places like the old lodging house in Coupar Angus. The building is still there today, completely gutted and converted into flats. The polite name for the lodging house is the Cumberland Barracks, because that's where the Duke of Cumberland stationed his troops during Bonnie Prince Charlie's rebellion in 1745. Ben Clark's mother ran the lodging house, and Ben himself grew up in it. I asked him when she took the place on.
From 1910 until about 1971.
So how old was she when she retired?
I would say 76.
Who was it that came to stay in the lodging house?
Oh, mainly single men. A couple of married couples, and that would be it.
No single women?
No single women, no.
Why was that?
Oh, to save any controversy, I suppose.
What did they all do, the people who stayed in the lodging house? Did they have work?
No, they mainly worked in the farms in the surrounding district, lifting potatoes, pulling turnips, and then they went to the berries at the berry time, harvest time. Everything on a farm, they did it. Some of the men worked up at Rosemount at the golf course as caddies.
Did they make much money doing that kind of work?
Oh no, pay was very small in these days. Maybe 25 shillings a week would be what they would be earning.
So your mother wouldn't be bringing in a lot of money, would they?
No.
What did she charge?
A shilling a night.
And what did you get for that?
Well, they got a bed, and sometimes they would get a meal.
What kind of a meal?
Oh, just home fare, soup, potatoes and mince. Very simple.
What about when times were hard? Was there any way that they could get help with some money or some...
Well, there used to be what they called a poor inspector in Coupar Angus, a Mr. Mackay, and they could go up to him and get a line for their bed for the night. But he was a hard man, and his daughter was even harder.
What did you have to do to get a line from Mr. Mackay?
Well, I just had to go up to his house. He had an office in the town hall, but most of them came during the evening and had to go up to his house, up to Cadham, go to his house and get a line from him.
They're all big houses up in the Cadham Road.
That's right.
So you'd have to go up the drive of this big house
That's right.
knock on the back door.
Knock on the door. And he wasn't very happy, I can tell you, because he used to come back with some lurid tales. Very little compassion, Mr. Mackay.
Was there anyone else that would help if people were down in their luck?
Well, there used to be a lady up in Blairgowrie called Lady Grimmond. Used to give them vouchers for clothes or boots or anything like that, which ultimately they would sell to get some money.
Why did you do this?
Oh, just generosity, I presume. Hmm.
Did people appreciate it, or did they
Oh,
think...
they appreciated it all right. Oh, they thought she was an angel, Lady Grimmond.
I wondered what the place was like inside.
Well, when you went into the communal room, it's a huge stove lit by anthracite, forums and tables up each side, a large room.
How big was the stove, in fact? Because
Oh,
it was enormous, wasn't it?
it was 6 feet long and 4 feet wide.
Mm-hmm.
Just a huge plate on the top, which had to be renewed every maybe 5 or 6 years because it cracked with the heat.
And did that serve as heating for the whole place?
Well, there was no heating in the rooms or anything like that. Just in the main room where they did all their cooking.
Did you have electric light?
Yes, oh yes. That came in about 1931 when it would be the Grampian Electric Company at that time.
Growing up in a place like that must have meant plenty of chores for Ben and his family.
Well, when I was a young laddie, we used to wash all the sheets and blankets in a big boiler, and that was my job, tramping the blankets in a big outside boiler.
How long did that take you?
Oh, it used to take us nearly all day. And that happened maybe a couple of times a week. All the sheets were washed, ironed.
Did you have to iron them as well?
Mm-hmm. And my mother did that, my sister.
Did you starch them?
Yes, oh yes. Were spotless, pure white.
I think that's a service you only get in the best hotels nowadays.
Oh, my mother was very fastidious, I'm telling you.
In the Bothys, the men made their own entertainment. What were the evenings like in the lodging house?
Oh, very pleasant. Lots of sing-songs and play cards all evening.
Gambling?
Quite a wee bit of gambling, but not for lots of money, just coppers. Used to play rummy for penny a time. Oh, we used to sing all the Scotch songs and Irish. Some great singers.
Were these songs you learned in books, or were they songs that people passed on?
Passed on, songs that passed on, yeah. You heard some wonderful songs from all years gone by.
Were there instruments played?
There was an old man there called, we used to call him Davie the Fiddler. And he always had his fiddle with him, and he played away at the fiddle. That was the only instrument they had.
Did you have any favourites that you knew yourself?
Oh, I liked Charlie Ace, and he was a real worthy. And there was another man called Jock Noble. He was a character. He used to go to the berries, and he would put a big berry on his finger and stick it through the bushes, and his partner on the other side would let a grab at it, and Jock would pull his finger back all the time. He was a lad.
The lodging house closed in 1971 when Ben's mother retired and the council bought the building. For a short while, one of the flats was used as a museum, but that disappeared with the Old Town Council a couple of years later. When Ben passes by now, just the sight of the place brings back many memories.
Oh, I look at it often and think of the happy times we had. Most of the men liked a wee bit of flutter on the horses, you know. Used to be all making out their lines there. And one day Mr. Groundwater was coming down the road, and there was a horse called His Reverence, and everybody put a bet on it, and it won. 10-1. I can remember that day.
And in case you're wondering, Mr. Groundwater was a local minister. Well, that's all from Stories from Strathmore for another week. Hope you'll join me at the same time next Monday. Until then, from me, Jimmy Black, it's cheerio.